Ready? Okay, Sarah Boggers.
Here.
Terry Gordon.
Here.
Kenny Marlett. Here. Randy McCord. Here. Dave Moore. Here. All right, we'll end it.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Community forum. Approval of minutes. Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of bills retained. Any questions on those?
Second.
Motion second. All in favor? Financial report, $4,358,010.79.
So moved.
Second. Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Let's see. Cody's on.
All right, so last year I spent a lot of time at the high school kind of fixing up the bathrooms, getting everything working the way it's supposed to. This year, this summer I've been installing new toilets at the elementary, 10 in. I think it's necessary. They're probably from the 70s, so nice to have kind of, it looks better and refreshed. I also did most of the urinals too, replacing the flush valves and everything like that. Steam trap work is supposed to begin today at the high school. Hopefully that goes smoothly with no issues. And the fire suppression system was installed over in the kitchen at the elementary, and the filters that were there we had to replace because they were deemed obsolete. We were going to get rid of the fire marshal, so it's just one thing after another, it seems like. But we should be good now. Also, the roof update at the elementary, I talked with Brett Schaefer. I think his supplies are coming in Friday, and then they're going to clean the whole roof, and then they'll start their process, is what he told me.
He's still planning to be done by the time school starts.
That's the way he sounded. He sounded like they're going to start next week and get rolling.
That's awesome.
Questions?
All right, my report is in front of you. Open positions that we're still trying to fill. Spanish, we do have a plan that we used last year. If nothing else, we'll continue with that. Ag, we are continuing to search. We've explored some options that will maintain our accreditation and let us do some ag offerings for kids. We're also working on a model of securing an advisor for the FFA program so that we can keep that program going as well. And we continue to search. Music, our plan is to continue with our current approach and have some discussions as an admin team as to how that position should be structured. Summer lunch, I just got an email from Amanda, and she said during the month of, let me open up the whole thing here. During the month of June, they served 5,095 meals. In July, they served somewhere around 3,750. So we served upwards of 10,000 meals to folks this summer, which is pretty amazing if you ask me. Reminder of rodeo happening July 18 and 19. School registration is scheduled for August 5th from 2 to 7. Big news is we received the Wellmark grant for funding for an additional day of social work services. I'm working with Great Prairie on some staffing options for that, and we should be able to get something in place. That means we're going to have a social worker on site 4 out of 5 days this year, so I think that's a pretty awesome thing. Legislative advocacy, I have that information on there again. My schedule, just so you know, tomorrow morning I'm heading back up north for my mother-in-law's funeral, and then I'll be back late Sunday night. So if you need me, feel free to message me. There's a lot of sitting around. You know how it goes. Okay. All right.
Let's see. Dave, I put in there some notes for you about the baseball softball field. My plan is to try to get them to come down in August here, or the end of July, but probably August. Try to come up with some a la carte ideas, like if we can't do the whole project, you know, what can we do, or what's it going to cost to do step by step. Some of the things I know from past experience, when I've had people come down, they're gonna suggest, for example, you shouldn't tile the field till you have irrigation on the field because you're gonna drain it too fast. Or you shouldn't put irrigation on the field till you drain it because they're gonna flood it, you know, things like that. But we need to discuss home plate at the baseball field. We need to discuss getting water out of the dugouts at the softball field. So I'm gonna come down and have them kind of give me some ideas on that. We do have some local people that can help with the tiling, so, but let's get them to come down and see what they say piece by piece. And I'll put a whole package together for the board to look at. You know, if it's something we don't do this year, we don't do it this year. You know, we've got by this far, but long term, you know, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, I think they have to be addressed. So those things aren't generally gonna get better. So I'll get a plan together on that here. Hopefully I have something for you in August, September board meetings to at least start a discussion. Again, I'm not expecting you to say, yeah, let's go do all that right now, but at least, you know, it'll give you some ideas of what we need to do. A couple updates on football. Original game versus Danville, which is the last game of the year, was supposed to be played on 10/17. We have moved that game to 10/16. That's the Thursday. And it's gonna start at 7 o'clock still. The reason, officials, couldn't find any. I've tried all summer long, and I got the same response everywhere. We're full, we're full, we're full. I went back as far as 6 years of officials that we've used here. That's the crews that I know that would almost always come down here. I went to L&M and talked to them about who they had, and he has nobody different. Basically, it's the same 4, 5, 6 crews that are doing the whole area. We had 2 crews that dropped out this year. So that was really our only option, unless we wanted to wait and see if Iowa City can fill them. There's an association up there that will fill for officials. But he told me that there was a very strong probability that multiple teams, probably 3 to 5 at least, would not get filled. I felt it was important to get that move made now so that everybody's aware of it, but also before other people start moving to Thursdays or Saturdays, and then you don't have any crews for those. So we made that move, and then homecoming right now is still on Friday if we can find an official, but again, we're running into the probably not gonna happen. If that's the case, we're probably gonna move to Saturday. That would be 10/3, would move to 10/4. Wouldn't really disrupt anything. Saturday's kind of if we're gonna have a Saturday game, homecoming's probably the one that would be most convenient for that. Start time would have to be at a weird time, maybe 4 o'clock, because we do have 2 JV and junior high volleyball games, tournaments away. We want to be able to get them back, but we also want to get the game done and have the dance on Saturday as opposed to on Friday. So maybe a 4 o'clock start. We're playing with that right now. I will mention that Saturday was not an option for 10/17 because that's state marching band, and I wasn't going to expect the state marching band to go up, participate in state marching band, maybe get back by 3 o'clock, get off the bus, walk out on the field, perform all day long. That would be ridiculous. So Saturday wasn't an option for that one. I think that's all I got until we get to the soccer stuff. So that's all my updates.
Questions?
I would have a comment. On those fields. I mean, I think we need to do something sooner or later. I think this can has been kicked down the road forever. So hopefully we can come up with something. It's just.
Well, I'm going to try
like
to go.
we talk about it every year. The first 4 years. I mean, it's just nothing ever. We're not getting anything accomplished. I mean, something got to be done there.
I think for me, it's I want to find the most efficient, cheapest thing, and I also want to get what if we do the whole project kind of thing. So I want to give us some options so something can be done.
Thanks.
I don't think it would have helped last Friday though.
All right, personnel.
So I suggest we split 1 through 3, keep 4 separate, and then 8 separate.
Probably 11 separate as well.
Yeah.
8, 11, and 4, is that what we said?
4, 8, and 11.
I make a motion to hire 1 through 3 on the motion list.
Second.
Okay. Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Oh, yeah, I guess instead of done.
now you're fine. You want for
Okay.
4 then?
I make a motion to hire 4.
I'll second. Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
No.
Opposed? Okay, and then 5 through 7.
I'll make a motion to hire assistant track, and boys track head coach.
Second. Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, abstain from this one, 8.
I make a motion to hire junior high track.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
9, 10.
I'll make a motion to hire junior high track and assistant soccer coach.
I guess you can add 12 in there, since it's volunteer. If you want to.
You wanna do that? I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And then boys golf volunteer assistant coach.
Second.
Motion second, in favor?
Aye.
11.
Motion to hire number 11 for head boys golf.
Second. Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Abstain from that one. Okay, what do we next?
So,
Designation none. New business consideration approved fundraisers.
You had the ones in the packet, plus an additional one I laid on your desk there. Football, cheer, and Hall's doing dunk tank this weekend. Football's doing their discount cards. They're also doing a youth camp and a high school camp. Volleyball's doing a youth camp, along with their flower warm, Hall Beers fundraiser, and then you have a basketball youth camp that I laid on your desk.
I make a motion to hire fundraisers.
second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, consideration approved new board policies.
All right.
Policies.
Yep, this first batch is just part of your regular rotation. Language is up to date. I would ask that you approve them as part of your regular rotation.
Make a motion to approve the board policies.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Consideration approved amended policies.
All right, this is the quarterly IASB recommended amendment list. I'll walk you through them real quick. 104, anti-bullying and harassment. This language brings it up to date with, Iowa code and the legislative language that they passed this last session. Open meetings, they added a requirement that all new board members, after the election, they have 90 days to take an open meetings training. I don't know if that's going to be in person or if it will be a module, but that will be a requirement for all incoming board members.
And County Attorney Parsons does those, so I'll have to.
Oh, sure.
Get us on the list. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
Child abuse reporting, it clarifies the kinds of training that our staff are going to have to take, just a couple language crossouts. Abuse of students by school district employees, it basically takes the responsibility of investigating from the school, kicks it up to the Department of Health and Human Services. So schools will no longer be tasked with investigating abuses supposedly within the same system. So, kicks it up to the state. Did I state that correctly as you understand it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay. 405.2, recruitment and selection. It brings the Teach Iowa system back. To the general public, that doesn't mean much, but to people in education, that's a wonderful thing. Because Iowa Works was a dumpster fire when it came to education jobs, so this is a good thing. 411.2, same thing for classified employees. Compulsory attendance, again, this is just some common sense language. If someone is going to an approved absence, you also have to give them time to travel to that. Apparently some schools weren't giving travel time, I don't know. Absenteeism and truancy, you'll see that they added some things that need to be approved for students to be absent for. Again, I view that as common sense. Graduation requirements. Some people are going to be glad that their kids are already through the school system. Beginning July 1, 2026, in order to get an Iowa diploma, you have to get a passing score on a civics test that the Iowa DE is going to put out. Personally, I don't think that's a bad thing. But that's my editorial sidebar.
I wonder where, will they do that like on an off-site, you know, like they used to, I wonder what the details of that will be.
I don't know.
Part of it probably comes in and.
I wonder if they just do it in the school system too, so.
I hope so, that would be a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
Immunization, we are required to provide our families with information on exemption options with them. It's not much. Basic instruction program, it talks about age-appropriate health-based education, career planning. Again, the language reflects the changes that came out of the legislative session. Same with health education, talks about it being age-appropriate and research-based. And that takes me to the end of it.
I make a motion to approve the amended policies. That's
Second.
Any discussion, potential consideration for a junior high soccer program? Brandon put startup costs, how many kids? We'll give everything on the next sheet after one.
Yeah, I think I've given it, you should all have it in your packet, I believe. And then you would ask for Adam to be here as well, so you could ask him questions or get his thoughts. And I'll gladly just go through this startup and where my mind is and what I was thinking when I went through this. The total number of players off the list that was given to me, I think Sarah gave me the list, I went through the list, 28 total players who have qualified for junior high this year. Of those kids, 10 of them are in both track and soccer. 10 of them were in track only. Some of those kids were from L&M, so we have to take that into consideration. They wouldn't be on our track team, right? Like, they might run track down there. I didn't track that down. The kids from here in Wapello that were just in soccer were 14 kids. Their uniform cost, we could do a t-shirt and a pair of black shorts, but I don't think that's fair to the program if every other junior high team has an actual uniform, so should the soccer team. That'd be a one-time upfront cost. They would go into my rotation. So it'd be part of my budget for the years going forward, but the startup would be about $1,400 for jerseys. You would need home and road, because if you don't, it's just like when we play junior high football and Wapello and Columbus show up at the same place. They both have white helmets, blue jerseys, and white pants. So we always took the JV, football jerseys so we can avoid that. But we don't want that situation, so they would need home and road or a reversible type jersey, which BSN does often offer those. And they would only need one pair of shorts. Now, there's a couple of reasons why we would go that route of the BSN uniform. Number one, we never have to buy them again. As a whole group, you can just buy replacements, because once you buy that uniform, they can always make that uniform again. If you buy Nike, Under Armour, or Adidas, that's not an option. 5 years, they're out of rotation, you can't get a replacement. So kids different sizes, we kind of ran into this with boys soccer this year. It got really close to us having to just quick order uniforms because they weren't cycle anymore, couldn't get them. We didn't have enough. Luckily, we had exactly enough, and it was fine. But that would avoid that situation. The balls are going to be a little bit higher the first year, because obviously you got to buy enough for practice and games and so on and so forth. But that wouldn't be necessarily a huge cost going forward. I think I have down there later where balls are only $324 a year, as opposed to the startup of $1,600. Some practice vests, mesh ball bags to hold the balls. You have to get goalie gloves. You're probably going to get a pair every year. That was to start with 2 or 3 pair, because again, you don't know who your goalies are, you don't know what size they're going to be. You got to have 3 different sizes to start. After that, you get a pair that gets wore out after a year, you get 1 more pair. You don't have to buy 3 pair every year, but you probably figure you're buying a pair. And the total for the first year, just for startup of the team, in terms of equipment and uniforms, would be a little over $6,000. If we went down and we added in buses and officials and what that would cost, you're looking at about another $1,500. And by the time you pay coaches and we get through all of that, we're gonna land somewhere in the $11,000 to $12,000 range to get it started. After that, you're looking at about $56,000, $59,000, that's with coaches' salaries included, and the upkeep of equipment that you're gonna have to purchase every year. So, I don't know if that answers all the questions you had for me last meeting, but I think it gives you a number and an idea. I think if you're going to do it, you do it right. You don't start it and say, well, we'll just do the minimalist things because later on we're going to say, well, we're going to do this now. We didn't do it before. So, take that for what it's worth. Eric and I have some thoughts about timing and things of that nature, but if anybody has any questions before I pass it on to Adam, feel free to ask.
Brandon, again, what's figured in the minimum yearly cost of $56, $59?
Coaches,
Okay.
officials,
Yep.
Purchasing of a smaller number of balls, that kind of thing. Just the normal stuff that we have on a normal basis. So down here it
Bowling
says,
gloves yearly?
down
Is
here it
that
says
part of it?
yearly. This part right here,
Right.
this would be the yearly things that I'm looking at.
Okay, all right.
That doesn't include anything like goals or flags and things like that would need to be replaced over time,
Okay.
because the high school has those too. So those are things that if we replace a goal, that goal would be replaced for everybody.
Right.
So,
Okay, thanks.
What kind of a schedule are we talking? How far are we going and how many games?
yeah, so that's kind of up in the air because it depends on how many other schools actually stay in or do this. Because right now, I think there's a little bit of confusion. There's our school out there that we kind of used to use as a conference. We don't use that anymore. So a lot of teams show up on there like they're conference games, but they're not. We do not have junior high soccer at the conference level right now. It does not exist. But there are schools. Mediapolis is moving that way. I think.
Hillcrest, Danville.
Yeah, Hillcrest, Danville.
Centrally, Mid Prairie.
And those are probably the likely teams that we play. I think Waco might go that way. Last year they played the youth, but they played a couple of those teams in games outside of, I don't know how they did it, but they did. So I would say my biggest concern is finding officials for junior high soccer because we have trouble finding them for high school. I happen to have a guy that I know very well, who I get along with very well, and I think sometimes he probably fills ours first. Maybe that'll help, but that's always a concern to me.
And we're responsible for what? How many games that we would have home that we have to do?
We figured 4. We figured probably 4 home and 4 on the road. That was, I think, pretty accurate to what we would be doing. That's what we figured for bus trips, I think, was 4, and we figured for officials for home games would be about 4. So,
Would we be able to piggyback any junior high with high school?
yeah, I mean, if we were able to do that, we would, but it always comes down to start time because obviously we're still in school at that time. So it's not like baseball and softball where we can say, hey, we're going to start at 1 o'clock and then play up through 9 o'clock. It's more, we have to start at like 4 o'clock or 4:30 and then, which the state doesn't like you to start junior high before 4:30. So we can do 4, but.
There are times where we only have like a girls or a boys game that we do.
What is L&M? Have you talked to L&M?
I have not, because in general, if we have junior high soccer, we're going to want their kids to come out and play junior high soccer because they're going to be on our high school team. I mean, that was kind of the way I felt about it. Plus, I'll be honest with you, it's hard to get able to somebody to talk to about things like that right now. They've done a lot of changing in the last couple of weeks, but I can reach out to them and see. But
Like for them to contribute, I guess, to the cost.
well, and if we're going to do that, that's going to be a whole new sharing agreement because that was not in the original agreement. So I'm not saying they couldn't. I'm just saying that is going to be something that has to be discussed, probably at the superintendent level, the board level. We'll probably have to rewrite up our sharing agreement, which we've already signed for next year. So.
I mean, I do think there's several L&M kids involved at the junior high level. It's not like there's 2. I mean, there's.
Shouldn't it?
Yeah,
14 kids, if I'm reading this right.
Well, no,
That's 14.
just in soccer for Wapello. I don't know, I didn't know the kids, I think it was 4 or
How
5.
many did you have
That
that
would make them pay,
Um,
have some kind of schedule
last year?
per kid.
We had
If they're
28,
a third of the team.
7th and 8th graders last year. We only had 2 or 3 L&M kids. I think in 5th and 6th, I think there's probably 10 of them or so in that grade.
And out of those 28 kids, some of them probably would be involved in track.
Of the 28 kids, 10 of them, or 4,
The ones Adam's talking about, the 7th and 8th
yeah,
graders.
L&M kids.
Of the 3 that played with us last year, one of them was in track.
3 L&M kids, I'm talking about as a whole. You had 28 kids in 7th and 8th grade
Yes.
soccer as a whole.
Yeah.
So some of those kids would have probably been involved in school track.
Yes.
10 of them.
Yes.
10 of them,
10
okay.
10 kids did both track and soccer.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Sorry, I read that wrong.
So-
It said just in soccer, 14 kids. I thought there was 14.
Kids from Wapello.
14
Yeah,
Wapello
yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
If you go to the one up above that,
Yeah.
the 10 in both means both soccer and track. Sorry, these are more my notes as opposed to.
It's fine, that's why you're here to explain it to us.
No, I knew we had a bunch of L&M kids. I just didn't know when or where they were at.
I would like to see some translation from the junior high to the high school for the girls for the L&M. Because I think we had one junior high kid from L&M that ended up playing this year as a freshman. And a handful of other ones actually golfed instead, I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd like to, see some of that translation up here for us at the high school level if they're gonna play junior high. That might be helpful.
If we're talking about this being, this was all an assumption that the junior high team was gonna be co-ed, just so we're all clear.
Yeah.
Because
That's what I'm getting ready to ask.
I don't think it's
He
realistic.
said that last
It's
time.
not
It's
realistic
not
to have 2
realistic.
separate junior high teams.
Yeah, I believe, Mediapolis is co-ed. I think they had 25 or 30 kids out of it. It was almost a problem, they just
Well,
had.
you can't compare anything in Mediapolis to us because they have 2 ag sections. They had to hire another ag teacher. Like, they're very, well,
Yeah, in 2024, when we had our full league, right, Wapello had 2 junior high teams, Meepo had 3 junior high teams, Columbus had 2, Waco, Winfield, each had 1. So our league was 9 to 10 teams. This year, because Meepo left, they took their 3, and Winfield wasn't able to get it together. So it's pretty much just us, and Columbus had 1.5 teams, and Waco had 1 team. So we had the most kids out at that level. So
I'm not sure that in good faith I can get behind this. Not with,
What was the discussion about the money then, Eric? I mean, as far as funding, did you guys come up with something or way to?
Well, we talked about more of the timing of it, right? Like, we know we need to start the discussion now, but I think Eric and I both would advise you not to make a decision until after October.
We'd like to see the enrollment numbers do. I mean,
is this an action, it's an action item.
you can take it.
That's
I
what
would-
I'm saying, 'cause I can't, right now today with I can't get behind
It'd
this.
be my recommendation, you wait till after the count, see where we're at, because there's no sense in adding a program and then finding out we have to make budget cuts later in the year.
I just see that, and I still go back to what I said at the last meeting, is we offer so much here that there are, like, we have track, golf, and soccer all at the same time. And we've got people going to track and soccer, and we've gotta figure out, like, eventually our money's gonna stop at some point, like, we have to be very careful.
But I like that we offer.
Yeah.
I do too, but the problem is then Brown's talking about officials, I mean, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Like, we're trying to get kids, and then kids are split going into different sports, and then he's fighting officials, and it seems like every sport we hear, it's harder and harder to get stuff going, so.
Springtime's probably the hardest time we got transportation going every direction with all these activities. When you adding one more, it's just gonna tax the system even more. So
But I think we're both in agreement though that we need to see what the count is this year, because I'm in the same boat. If we add something and then know that we have to turn around and cut it the next year, or we have to cut something else the next year to keep it alive, I don't think that's fair to our existing programs. But if it's something that looks like in after October that it's realistic that it could happen, it still gives us time to find coach, uniforms, equipment, especially since I'm talking about using BSN uniforms 3 to 4 weeks, I'll have them here. It's not like I have to order them now like I would for girls basketball, for example, would have been ordered in May. You know, we don't have to do that with this particular type of uniform. But I also want you guys to have all the information you want and need. And, you know, with Adam being here, if you have questions for him, please ask him. If there's things you want me to look into, please ask me to do that. I will put down and I will make sure I get you that information, because if we're going to wait, we have plenty of time to do that. But I don't want you trying to make a decision without all the information either. You know.
For extra home games, could we still utilize like our game balls instead of purchasing?
Probably, but I think long term you're still gonna want practice balls and stuff for your junior high.
Well, and it goes back to
Practice balls.
Brown even saying, if we're gonna, if we're gonna do it, like, let's do it right.
Well, I mean, if we're only doing 4 more home games, and we've got 2 sets of game balls between the girls and the boys, and I've got extra game balls anyways, because he
Yeah.
always replaces game balls for me every year. I don't think 4 more games of junior high soccer, and
Using
put
those
enough
balls.
wear and tear on the game balls, because they're only used for like games. So like,
Does the 5th and 6th use the same size soccer ball?
Yeah.
So I didn't know if some of the practice balls could come down from
I was gonna say, what
Used.
we have from you.
I would say this, we usually make a donation to the program every year, $800 to $1,000 or so. We could definitely do that again to help get things going with balls and equipment and things like that. Would be, if it needed to happen, that help it go.
Brandon, on the uniforms, if you did that double sock or that double jersey, I mean, obviously you're gonna take away $14.70 cost or not?
No, it'll be about half of that on the others, if they have that as an available option. Like for basketball, they
But if
do.
BSN doesn't have that as an option, can we go another route? I mean, if they don't have it,
We
from what I
can't-
understood, we could go a different
We
route.
can, here's the thing, a BSN uniform, you're gonna find it hard to beat that price. And you have to remember that's our preferred provider, and we get credit back
Right.
for buying BSN uniform. So in turn, we're gonna get money back out of that to use later. I don't know if there's a better way to say that. Are there cheaper options? I would say we might be able to find 1 or 2 options out there that are cheaper, but when you go cheaper, you're gonna get that cheaper.
No, yeah,
And we're gonna be replacing them fairly quickly.
and with the sublimation, it's nice because as a coach, if you do their uniforms and they sublimate it, you can literally order 1 or 2 off if you need a different size. You don't have to worry about in 5 years having to reorder thousands of dollars of uniforms.
I have.
So,
To kind of give you an idea of what I've done with the junior high uniforms is I put them on rotation like I do the high school. The high school teams were always funding the junior high uniforms. Okay, that's the way it's been for 20 plus years. I didn't think that's fair. You know, I think that the high school should be invested in their uniforms. That's why they're asked to pay for 1/3 of them. But I'm paying for the junior high uniforms at this point. And I've transitioned all of them so far that I bought into BSN uniforms. Again, if something happens, I can get it replaced really quickly and fairly cheap. I mean, 1/3 of the cost of Nike, for example, or something. I'm sure there's other options out there. I don't know that they would be cheaper. I don't know that they wouldn't be, but I think for the longevity of a program, and if we're going to do this, we're going into it thinking it's going to be around, not that it's going to be 1 or 2 years, right? I think the goal is for it to be there forever.
I mean, we had 160 plus the last 3 years. And that's peaceful up, but I mean, we've had a lot of kids involved on a consistent basis.
Well, I think that
And so I think soccer is,
I think that probably soccer is a very popular sport, especially amongst young kids. It's kind of like youth wrestling, though. I would caution against counting those numbers anywhere below
Yeah.
5th grade
Yeah.
because you'll start with 50 kids
everyone does
and
it.
you'll be down to 3 by the time they get to junior high or high school. I mean, if you looked at the number of youth wrestlers that we've had over the years in comparison to what we have for junior high boys wrestling, that number is like 10%. And I'm not saying that will happen, but you have to. I think you're better off going, okay, what did you actually have in 7th grade? You might have 10 kids in 5th grade from L&M this year. You might only have 3 next year. You know, I think that number he's given us is pretty accurate. It's 28 kids though, right? Like, it's still 28 kids, but it's probably not the 50 they started with when they were in kindergarten or first grade, you know? I think that's one of the things that we get ourselves in a trap, right? Like, oh, we got all these kids in wrestling, or we got all these kids in soccer, we got all these kids in baseball or softball or whatever. That number is not realistic to what it looks like by the time it's junior high school. And for all kinds of reasons, like kids find other interests. Kids feel like they're better at something else or whatever it may be. I think we want to caution ourselves with that, but looking at the fact that there's 20 junior high kids in general, probably 20, 24, 25 from Wapello, probably pretty close to equal on boys and girls.
No, it's well, in 5th and 6th, it's a lot more even.
Yeah.
In junior high now, it's a lot more close.
Yeah, and that's what we witnessed too. I mean, our daughter played youth soccer through Wapello, right? And I would say that was what I noticed anyway as we went up, and then we had a co-ed high school team. The number of girls dropped off significantly. But as soon as they heard there was maybe a chance to play soccer as a home girls team, all of a sudden the numbers exploded. You know?
Brandon, I also think that the demands, the girls that do travel, softball, they get busy in the spring, and then when they get to high school, maybe they don't as much of that, and then come back to soccer at that age. So. Yeah, I think we're at a phase of producing probably 6 or 7 boys per class to play soccer every year, and girls to play 3. It needs to be more, but that's where we're at. I think.
Sorry, lots to think about.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth the discussion. But I think we have to.
Yeah, I don't know if we need a motion on it, but if you do, I would suggest that we wait till October, see what it is. We might be able to gain more information on travel, who's gonna, I mean, once school gets back into session where you can talk to other ADs.
Budget-wise.
Yeah, I won't. What I could do is our next AD meeting's not till August, obviously. I can certainly discuss with the conference, like the schools that are doing it.
How you
What do
doing?
we? First of all, what do we have to do to get on that schedule? Because it's not a conference thing. I know it shows up on our conference calendar, but it's not. So I have to see kind of how we get into that.
We can survey students who, like, what junior high kids, are you planning to do soccer this year? We can have L&M do the same thing. Like,
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, sometimes.
just so we have.
I'll be honest, I've done those surveys.
Yes, and
Sometimes
then-
they give you good information, sometimes it's every kid's like, oh, I'm interested, but then they never show up, you know. So it could be we have 10 or we might have 50, but I could try
Did
that.
it pass for kids to move up from 8th grade for all sports? No,
No,
I
they
didn't know.
completely removed it from the, we never even discussed
I-
it. It passed, the first step,
Yeah,
and then they just disappeared.
I never saw anything about it anymore.
Yeah.
So.
It didn't just pass, I mean, it passed by a wide margin. I was
Yeah.
really shocked it didn't go on. So.
I'll second Kenny's table motion.
Motion second.
Is there anything specifically you guys want me to look at besides just talking schedule?
Schedule, I would like to see what you come up with for other schools' schedule.
Check into the uniform thing,
Yeah,
if you don't mind.
I mean, I will, yeah, but I'm not gonna buy junk. I mean, I will.
I'm not asking you to buy junk.
I will look.
Check into it to see if we can get the
Give
reverse
it
school
a
and
shot here to see what the group would be willing to donate. I mean, there's gloves, there's balls, there's all kinds of stuff, and monetary amounts as well. Please. Okay, all in favor, sorry.
Aye.
Okay. Consideration for groundwork, elementary.
All right, this is something that Brett talked to the board about last month. Cody's been able to get a couple different bids working with Brett. We tried to get it as apples to apples as we could. Cody, can you explain what we're looking at here?
So I don't have the map in front of me. I don't know if you guys have a copy of that.
Do you need this?
No, just for their reference,
Okay.
this would cover areas 5, 6, and 7, I believe. I think we're just so far behind on wood chip work. I think the last time, I can't even remember, when Bill Small was here is the last time we got wood chips delivered. And we're to the point, I mean, there's no wood chips left. The ground is basically leveled out, and it basically needs dug out, refilled with wood chips, and done correctly. And we just don't have the machinery or equipment to do that kind of work. These three areas are of most concern. I think Brett has said a couple of kids they're starting to fall, and it's starting to become a hazard and a safety issue. I used Brett's bid to kind of make it apples to apples. I sent the scope to M&B Lawn Care out of Mount Pleasant, and obviously the pricing's quite different. Carew Landscaping has it in phases. So that was, I think Brett was talking about doing that as like a 3-year plan. But the M&B Landscape is, that's just for this one job, essentially, areas 5, 6, and 7. And I think.
So if you did 5, 6, and 7 off of there, the other one, it's still 40, 45,
Yeah,
45,
66
Yeah.
versus 26, whatever, and changed for the 3 same areas. If that's what you want to concentrate on,
Yeah.
6 and 7, 5, 6, 7.
Where is this money coming from?
Well, it'll have to come out of sales tax. Pepple was committed to the resting room payment and vehicles, so it'll have to come out of, let's say, sales tax.
So then what does that do to our sales tax fund?
Well, as you know, last year was a year full of unexpected expenses in that fund because of lights and sewers and
I mean, we're talking about softball, baseball stuff, like we gotta,
I did this report before I made some transfers back on the Department of Justice grant that we, for the fire alarm. So there's about 300,000 in that account right now.
We also don't know what's going to come out. Is this any work that our summer kids could do? I mean, is there any, I mean, I know you don't have the equipment, but.
Right. The issue is, I think it's just so far gone at this point. I mean, it's really, I think, more of a yearly thing. It needs to, my goal would be, to get this done correctly the first time, and then I can get the rotation started to where.
And we could buy that playground mulch ourselves and
Right.
add it every year.
Yeah, that's what we used to do.
Right now, you're talking excavating 18 inches deep and cleaning it out and starting over, right?
Because like right now, one of the swing sets, I can't remember which area, the concrete is poking through the ground, and it's, I know Kyle's had to put dirt over it just to keep kids from falling into it.
Here's my deal. There's a liability now because you've had kids that fell. We know of the liability, and we don't do something about it, we become a higher liability if somebody gets hurt, and we knew about it, did nothing about it. Have to do something, whether it's bypass these and do the best we can with it, and see if we can borrow things from the city to dig. Talk to Springsteen, whoever has equipment, and just get it done, or spend a bunch of money.
On that map, Cody, you got on number 8 where the tiles are you looking at replacing those tiles?
That's kind of tabled for now because the pricing for that's the cheapest thing I could find, and this is with like turf. Like a turf material is $60,000. So I mean, the tiles were over $80,000.
So specifically right now, we just need to address 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah,
in your eyes.
those are. I talked with Brett, and we both agreed that those 3 areas are the most used areas, and they're the most concerning. I would
Some
say
of these, there's a couple of these things that like 2 and 4 and 3, and I mean, they're just top dressing at 3 to 6 inches.
those, yeah.
Around.
The other ones outside of the rubber mats, I think, aren't necessarily needed right now.
So which number is the rubber mats? I'm sorry.
8.
8. Oh, okay, there it is there.
I think it's very expensive, I'm sorry, I don't know.
It's really expensive. I mean, I don't disagree with you at all, but we can't, that's a lot of money. I don't wanna be taking a big hunk out of our, I mean, what's our other routes? Like,
The other issue too is that I don't want a kid to get hurt.
I don't
If
either.
there's stuff, and I know, if there's stuff poking through, something needs to be done, but I don't disagree that, you know, if we could talk to Springsteen or we could talk to
I
people
think-
that have, you know, Ruger Allworth
Right.
has equipment that maybe they can
What
come
is
in.
all needed?
Big or-
What would be needed to do this? Like,
Like the
like an
M&D lawn
excavator,
care,
like what?
they have like a sod cutting machine to where they would come in and cut all that out in probably a day or two. And the mulch alone he quoted $10,000, so that's several truckloads that would come in.
I mean, I don't know where he's getting his mulch at, but.
This is it has to be certified.
Oh,
for,
that's
like,
right, that's right,
Answer
that's
that,
right, you're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's where they get you.
Yeah,
I don't know, I think we need to do some, but I don't know if we're asking, so what's our time frame on this? Because like you're asking guys, I mean, I know it's nice to have somebody come in and do some of that stuff, but the people you're talking about have their own jobs and they're busy all the time, and you're gonna be waiting. And if you wanna do something, you know, you're asking for a lot. You start asking people to come in there and do that much work.
don't shoot me for saying this, cause I am not a landscaping person, but I know we just put a Band-Aid over it, but should we just put some more mulch down and then reevaluate so that we don't have a kid get hurt?
So essentially just bring in, remulch it, don't dig it out yet.
Or is that a waste of money?
I can see it being a waste of money
Yeah.
because if you put it in,
The mulch is gonna go.
and then next year we gotta dig it back
Yeah.
out, now we drop $10,000, let's say, on mulch, and now we're,
And we didn't dig it out 18 inches. And
We can always ask Brett too, you know, instead of 5, 6, and 7, we could do 5 and 6 or 6 and 7. I'm not sure which one to be the most severe. I would say 5 is pretty severe. I'm just really concerned about that swing set with that concrete
Yeah.
poking through. I really.
That
which one is that on, 7?
and these are pretty good
It's
sized
like
areas.
6 or
They are.
7.
You got 23 by 78, 36 by 40.
6 has got that new slide you guys put on last year.
Yeah.
Like they're cutting out.
There's quite a drop there.
Yeah, it's a big drop too. So.
Are there big drops in all of these, 5, 6, and 7?
Oh yeah, 5 is probably
I mean,
the
I think
biggest
if those have been identified, those are what needs done. I mean, we're saying they're all severe. I mean,
But have we contacted anybody local, like, you know, campers or anybody else?
I've tried a few. I tried several companies out of Muscatine. They didn't show a whole lot of interest.
Did you try Four Seasons?
I think I did
They,
because they came down. I'm pretty sure I did. That sounds really familiar,
there's a
but
place in Wayland. Have you heard of them? I know the person.
because I know M&B, they said he sounded like they were ready to rock. I mean, you know, because I was told them, you know, we kind of would like, you know, if this goes through, to be done before school starts. Just
has anybody talked to McClure Material in Burlington? They do landscaping and they do truckloads of mulch. I know it has to be specific mulch, but I mean, I can get you in contact with somebody if you want to, but
McClure, you said?
yeah, MMI, McClure Material.
I'm sending for this screenshot. This place is called Fast Lawn Solutions. That's a kid probably my age out of Wayland. And he does like all landscaping.
well, the one issue I've had, you know, these two bids are so far apart that I don't really understand why. It's the same scope of work. I don't know why the pricing is so.
I would be really interested to know what McClure's would charge for something like this.
Because I mean, if we find a more reasonable bid, I mean, we can always have a special meeting or whatever to
Yeah,
get
I'd
it
say
through.
that's probably the best.
Because my end goal would be, you know, to get everything back to where it should be, and then it can be maintained a lot easier.
I would say, however if you're gonna look for somebody else, which is fine, We wanna make sure that they're gonna dig that out, 18 inches deep, haul it off, and replace it with the proper stuff. So you wanna make sure you're getting more quotes that are apple to apple. If they wanna use, we can get somebody that is cheaper, great, but we wanna make sure they're just not gonna throw it on the ground.
I can vouch for McClure's, they're not just gonna throw it on the ground. I wouldn't say that about anybody, so.
No, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying, we just wanna make sure that they get the same scope of work part of that, so we know they're gonna dig that out and do that properly, so we're not doing what they.
And if they can't, they'll tell you, but yeah.
I would table it and see what you can get, Cody,
If
sorry.
Cody, if you wanna go about getting.
Yeah, if you could just send me that,
Yep, okay, I'll send it to you.
I'll call around and see if we can get a little cheaper.
I'll get Dave contacts for local.
Okay, yes.
Just to see if they,
Yep, just
some of the
email me.
contractors have subcontractors that
Yeah.
do that type of stuff for their projects too, so
Yeah, for sure.
give you some more options. Yeah, just a motion to table, I guess.
Motion table.
Motion second on favor. Declare vehicle surplus.
Darren sent me a message earlier last week sometime. We've got it's a 1990s era Ford van. It's the green van that we don't use for, I think custodials use it for
Yeah.
your use. It's not used to transport students anymore. He'd like to declare that surplus and get rid of it. Bus number 14, which is our older Bluebird. And then we've got a Kubota lawnmower that's been sitting in the garage. We've got 3 mowers, so this will be the oldest of the 3. We've got 2 John Deere's and Kubota. This is a front mount jack on that one. So he'd like to ask that those 3 items be declared surplus so we can start the process of getting rid of them.
Make motion to declare them as surplus.
Second.
Motion second on favor.
Aye.
Consideration of approving Midwest Alarm Service.
All right, when they installed the fire alarm system, we got 1 year of coverage as part of the installation. That has come to an end, and so we need to look at, what we're gonna do for maintenance. Cody and I have talked, it makes sense that you have the group that put them in, take care of the maintenance and the inspection. So the proposed agreement is in your packet.
So the
17,797.
Correct.
thing I saw there, they want a 5-year agreement, but they want to lock the price for 3, right?
Correct.
Says 60 months at the top, and
Can this be paid with any grant six left?
No, you can't pay a service agreement, I think that's what I want.
How was that, sorry, I'm squirrel, but is there any sort of funding we can get for that for that playground stuff? Like, is there any
We can check.
grants or anything, like, if we fix some of it now, like,
Right.
should we look into some grant, if there's any grant money or some sort of funding, maybe to do the rest, potentially?
the problem we're gonna run into, I mean, we're already gonna run into it as school starts, so.
I'm saying the other stuff,
Oh, yeah.
you know, like, cause obviously there's other stuff that needs taken care of, right? So maybe if we could get some money coming in for the next year or so, you
No,
know,
I can look into that.
there may not be anything.
Right. Well, I know there are grants that will pay for equipment, but I don't know if they cover lamps or ground cover. You won't know until you
Safety,
check.
some kind of a safety.
Yep,
Yeah,
we'll see.
just a thought.
Do you think we should wait to, like, you said there's a difference?
Well, they want you to sign a 5-year agreement, and that's not
It's
atypical.
just payment.
Give you a 5-year, they want to lock you in for 5 years, but they want to guarantee you rate for 3. If it were up to me, I'd rather see it give you a 5-year guarantee, but
Have we asked that? Has anybody just said, will you do that?
No, we can see if they would do that.
Before. Let's table this one again.
Well, we got all kinds of stuff for the next meeting.
Well, the problem is, we're not gonna have coverage,
Oh,
because our 1 year coverage is coming to an end.
Oh,
When did that come to an end? I mean, just now?
Basically, yeah, about now.
Which is fine, it's brand new,
Mhm.
so it's.
If you want to table, we can table, that's fine.
Well, I guess it includes monitoring, it's not just inspection.
Yeah.
Right.
You wanna make a motion?
You
that-
could approve it.
Approve it and then make a motion to find out about the 3 to 5
I would say
year
if I can
differential.
negotiate a better rate, it's not gonna cost you any more, so this is, you have the worst case scenario.
I'd say we approve it and then check on that.
That's fine.
Is that your motion?
Yeah, you'll make the motion.
Make a motion.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Right.
Consideration for locker room door hardware replacement.
All right, over in the high school, the junior high locker rooms currently do not lock.
This would be the high school.
Yeah, sorry,
Good.
I misspoke. They do not lock, and that is a safety concern. So we've secured a couple bids for this project, they're in the packet. Walsh is the company that we have used to do all of our hardware replacement. Cody, you also talked to Spectra.
Yeah, he has a supplier that does the same scope of work. I believe the hardware is the exact same that they quoted. The prices are really similar, but I think Walsh has been really good to us. They've been pretty prompt on, when they show up to do it, and they get the work done, and I think it'd be worth going with them for this.
Right, Cody and I, even though it's slightly more expensive, our recommendation would be to go with Walsh because we've had good luck with them. We have an established relationship with them.
And that's what they do.
Yeah.
You're talking about a couple $100.
Yeah, it's not.
I'll make a motion to go with Walsh for $6,672.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Okay, consideration for operation sharing.
All right, we've asked you to spend a lot of money, let's talk about something that's gonna generate some money for us. I've told you about this, we are proposing an additional operational sharing agreement with Morning Sun. This would involve Eric serving as their school business official. We've worked out schedules, we've worked out times, Morning Sun is in favor of it. It is operational sharing, so it would generate approximately $32,000 in additional funding. To me, it's a win-win as long as Eric continues to tell me he's not burning himself out, so.
I mean, it's worked since October. The real test is now coming. We gotta do 2 separate annual reports, but.
Yeah.
Confident we're gonna get through it.
He shrugs his
One way or
shoulders
another.
like it's not a big
Yeah, not a big deal.
It is a big deal.
I got
mean,
No sleep.
I'll work here till 10 o'clock instead of 9 now, so.
I got good help that's helping me, so between the two of us.
So this is for you and Tammy, right?
Yeah.
You need it.
It's going to increase Tammy's from 1 to 2 days a week, just like,
Right.
we'll only be in the office over there 1 day a week, but
There'll be some work done.
there's a lot of stuff
Yes.
we can do from here. But the 3 of us feel it's important for us to be over there as well, so have a presence in that building.
And just so you know, with the schedule, that would be, the 3 of us would be together in the office 1 day a week. So that's
why
gonna
we
be a
didn't want
pretty
to
important day to preserve.
If you need all of us, Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
I'll make a motion to consider to approve the operational sharing agreement with Morning Sun.
You guys know.
And second, all in favor?
Alright.
Item served next board meeting.
Anything that, well, we have all of our tabled items that we'll table.
With the landscaping part of it, we probably really need, we may have to have, if he's come up with something, we may have to have something a little bit earlier. These guys, he said,
Yeah.
we're ready to get on it. School's coming up quick. The 5th is your registration and stuff.
We'll try to have some information by the end of the week.
We can always schedule a special meeting for the Florida.
Yeah, I'm good with
Right when I
that.
leave here, I'll start writing.
If we're gonna do it, I'd like to see.
Well, I just-
First day of school, it'd be nice to have.
Got a
that.
couple numbers for you, so
Okay, yeah.
before you leave, I'll just give them to you instead of.
All right, as you think of things that you'd like to have on the agenda, please don't
I do have one
hesitate to reach
question.
out. Yes.
So we talked about the bathrooms at the baseball and softball fields.
Yeah, talk to me about that.
So, lots of complaints this year on people in the bathrooms, which I guess I kind of take for granted. I just go in the bathroom, it doesn't bother me, right? But they probably need some TLC. So
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was in Brown. Brown, are you just talking about field stuff?
Yes.
When you talk about, okay. So I don't know if it's something.
I talked with Mike briefly about it, I kinda got a plan, just,
Okay.
we're gonna spruce them up, obviously,
Yeah,
It's not-
I know like the one of the things, one of the hand towels
Yeah, I
in the
kinda-
women's bathroom
yeah.
sticks
I'm
and
gonna
whatever.
replace
So.
those with brand new, they've been.
I
there
know, like
since
when you
the
sit
90s.
down, the toilets are a little wobbly.
Yeah, I ordered new toilet seats for them.
Perfect.
I went over and checked, and I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure the toilet wasn't loose itself, but the toilet seats were both really loose.
Yeah.
And,
I think it's like cosmetic. Some of it's cosmetic.
yeah, that's it. Just
Right,
spruced
so-
up, kind of like the football field.
Yeah.
It needs a little TLC.
So I just wanted to bring that back up because they all love the improvements in the concession stand, so we might as well.
And the TLC probably isn't gonna be very expensive, so I don't want to take care of that.
No.
Will we have a potential student count? At least like who's registered or?
We'll have very rough numbers, yeah.
Rough update on elementary.
I'm
Just on that.
A lot of ours are gonna do online. We'll have a fair amount in person, but it's gonna be hard to gauge.
Do we know how many have open enrolled out and things like that?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can give you
we
those
can,
numbers.
Okay, let's get those
We'll
numbers
take-
or what's come in to.
Take last year's off and tell you what's coming in since last year.
Do we have a lot that have open and rolled out this year?
I don't
obviously I
know,
too.
without looking, there's been a fair amount of forms of trading places, but I feel like we've got some coming in as well as
Yeah.
coming out, so. I'll try and get an update on that, see where we're at.
And we can go through our student list and see all right, who do we know? Because we have some.
And we know we graduated 41, but
Yep.
I don't know what our kindergarten numbers
Find
are
out
like.
if they bounce back, you never know.
It's like other jobs too.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Typically, we always gain as kids get older, you know, it's just the dynamic that we deal with.
And we'll see exactly how many morning set kids end up here. We think we know,
Yeah.
Until day one.
Time consideration set date time next meeting.
Second Wednesday is August 13th.
So we want to do another morning meeting for the summer.
I'm getting used to these 8 o'clock meetings. I don't know about anybody
I'd like to
else.
go back to the night because it's too hard for me to find so many meetings I'm
Is it?
short-handed to fill in. That's just my opinion. But I don't have to be here either.
morning since it's my anniversary.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Or
glad we could remind you.
we do a midday.
I can't guarantee I'm gonna have it.
Talk to your boss about this stuff, I can't believe it.
Oh, I can't.
Well, I can kind of set up with Kenny like I can come at 8 o'clock, but it's a little dicey sometimes, so.
Thanks for go to the
Now we can do something early, we can do something 3:30, 4 o'clock.
You have a hard time getting here by then.
Or you have a lot.
I don't like doing
I,
that.
yeah, I mean, I'm a 4, like I could do a 4:30.
Either gotta do it first thing or we're doing it back tonight. For me.
Or we're pulling you off jobs that.
Yep.
Yep.
I don't know that there's.
Can we do it the 6th? The week before?
I will not be here that
Okay,
day.
that's a no.
What about?
Do it in the morning. If I can be here, I'll be here.
I mean, we can do one more morning. I don't have a problem with that. We'll figure it out, but.
Are you sure, Ken? I hate to set
Yeah, if
something
I
up
can't be here, I
knowing you
can't be
can't be
here.
here.
I'll try and make it work. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
Well, and if you gotta cover dispatch, you tell, I mean, zoom in either.
Yeah, I could just to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing more though.
Yell at them if we want to vote. Up to you guys, either way.
Just do the 13th in the morning. If that's
Want
fine.
your motion?
Yes.
Sarah, are you back?
No, I don't go back to the 18th. Well, the 18th, so. I'll be working that day, but, yeah, not in, so I do it.
Make a motion, August 13th, 8 a.m.
Second.
Second on there.
Make a motion to adjourn. Is that where we're at?
Yes.
She's ready.
Motion second, favor.
What? I'm just like, there's no more letters on this.
I just, my teacher